singing sweet unbroken lines, hitting that rhythm. Flat cap pastor dashing through pages, Chronicles, Gospels, prophets, sages, Leviticus, laws to pause, find phrases, turning them corners of spiritual mazes. Genesis to Revelation, so divine. Flip them scripts, endless grace you'll find. Psalms singing sweet, unbroken lines, hitting that rhythm, wordplay refined. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? Wake up early, the dawn's light shimmers. Spiritual breakfast, soul food dinners. Isaiah's vision, Ezekiel's figures. Walk through the fire, no one limbers. Kings and judges, prophets profound, plowing the word, no mythical ground. Verse after verse, wisdom's bound. Heavenly soundtrack, soul serving sound. Anybody in here blessed? Anybody in here blessed? Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? No shortcuts, all divine routes. Listen to the whispers, no room for doubt. Parables drop stronger than gold faucets. Souls hydrated from divine prophets. Study the book, change perspectives. Carefully crafted, not too subjective. A year to reflect, learning perfect. Patterns of grace that time can't deflect. Old Testament drops deep and so real. Kings and warriors, covenant seals. Split that Red Sea, divine reveal. Commandments written, not made of steel. Bethlehem birth to cross on the hill. Unfolding the nappy blessings, pastor with skill. Scripture flip, every verse fulfilled.
Through the word, every verse, every chapter, nothing unheard. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered, spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ, flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message, flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick, raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions, streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap changed the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extends. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Yo, online sermons, holy vibes delivered, spreading light, got the sinners reconsidered. Psalm to psalm, man's like a holy DJ, flipping through scripture, repping the Yahweh. Your emotes in the chat, praising the message, flat cap on point, teaching eternal lessons. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks, holy words they stick, raining blessings down with a slick rhyme trick. Virtual congregation, united in devotion. 1 year strong, a spiritual promotion. He's a life coach with divine instructions, streaming holiness, no room for interruption. Flat cap changed the game, new pastoral fame. Virtual shepherd, he's embracing the mainframe. In the comments, affirmatives and amens. With each Goliath tackled, faith extends. Everybody in here blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. 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 Digital pulpit, preaching like a pro. Followers grow as the faith overflow. Keyboard clicks.
Welcome in, everybody! Welcome in. Looks like I got Stream Decks working today. Pretty excited about that. Trigger Boss, good to see you. Heaven Soap, Lady Palace, Papstio. All great to have you in here today. Hope you're doing well, friends. Hope you're doing well. Get the earbud out of my ear and show you the shirt I'm wearing. If this is not so, who can prove me false and reduce my words to nothing? That is Job 24:25. Yeah, I don't know. I have not gotten reactions wearing these shirts yet, and we're about to the end of the month, and I'll go back to collar shirts. But I got some swag, and so I just swag month. That's what we're doing for the whole month, showing off some swag. So glad to have all of you in here and hanging out today. Hope all is going well. Lady Palace, hope your dad is doing well. Nice shirt. Thank you. They are available. If you see my merch thing pop up, you can go over and check them out. Actually, I could show you. Oh, that's not the right one. Clicked on the wrong thing. When do you leave for ReachCon? I want to say next Friday. It's next Friday and Saturday, but it doesn't start immediately in the morning, and the hotel was... so I think it's next Friday. So it's next Friday and Saturday, and the hotel room that they had booked for me was Friday night, Saturday night. So I could look real quick and see what time it is. That's what my thought is off the top of my head. Open up. Come on. Says 8 days until check-in. Yeah, I fly on Friday. Let me see what time I actually get there. I get there at 11 a.m. to Orlando. So then I got to figure out, oh, good reminder on that Paps deal. I need to double check on transportation. If anyone else is coming in around the same time, I can get a ride. That'd be great. So, you going to be going, Papstio? You know some people are headed there early. Well, not there specifically, but to the area. Okay. You wish you could go? Yeah. Well, I could get you a free ticket if they're still honoring the tickets, but you'd have to get there. Lady Palace, I hope he's doing well. The doctors will remove his wound badge tomorrow. Pray his wound is all dried up and now is just left with rehabilitation strength. Okay. We'll continue to pray that way. So the bandage coming off tomorrow, that's good to know. I do know a gentleman that where I had lived had been in a tornado and tossed some distance and had a wound. He had to go to the wound care and have his wound, they call it evacing, cleaning it once a month for 2 years, which it must have been a really severe wound from being tossed from the tornado that he was in. So here's a bunch of them, and you can get these all in different colors here. So that's what we got available on the merch. And this one you can't see because it's designed to be on a black shirt because it's in white. So let's see. I think that's how many I got. Eight different ones, something like that. And if if somebody decides to start buying them, then I might make more. We found a few here in the New Testament as well that seemed like they would be fun to put on a shirt. So, but I don't need any more right now, so I'll wait and see if these sell. So there we go, just to show you. Let's close out a bunch of these windows from looking up words. Yeah, Lady Palace did. I want to say, I think he's either in his 80s or his 90s. You know, somewhere around there is where this gentleman's age was. So that's part of why it took quite a while to heal. So I'm not suggesting that that's the case for your dad. My only suggestion is it can take a long time and it can still heal. That was kind of my thought. So even though it took him quite a while, he did recover eventually and it did fully heal. So that we'll be praying. Same for your dad. All right, those who were not here, where were we? We finished 1 Corinthians yesterday, and we voted on Ecclesiastes or Song of Solomon. As you're looking through here, it had us doing some of Ecclesiastes, some of 2 Chronicles, and then going over to Song of Solomon. So I voted on these two. We're going to do Ecclesiastes, then we'll do Song of Solomon, and then we'll start 2 Chronicles. That's the plan. Artsy, welcome in. Pop up, Taterhead. Good morning, Flat Cap and chat. Tip of the cap to you, my friend. Thank you. Ah, there it is. There's Streamlabs with the funny merch. So you can go get this shirt if you want from the merch there. It's available in quite a few different options. So thanks for the alert, Galaxy. Changing a flat cap. Well, let me know which one you want, friend. Which one do you want? I don't know if I have one that matches the color of this, but we can see what looks better. The red one. All right. I don't know if that'll look better, but if I had purple, maybe it would look good that way. Or if I had yellow, it would definitely look good. Good morning, Subdue. McDonald's theme? Oh no, I did not think about that. So I just need the big red shoes too then, right? All right. So we are in Ecclesiastes. And so far as we have been going through, the person who's telling us all of this is called Kohelet. We're not entirely sure the best way to translate that word. Some will say the preacher. They've chosen to go with the teacher here. So it is Solomon because he refers later to being king and several other things that give us the insight to know that it is written either as Solomon or from Solomon, and I'm fine with whichever way you want to look at that. So it is written from the perspective of it is Solomon who was wise, and he is investigating what it is to be human and what is beneficial to humans. And so far he's talked about, if I accumulate massive amounts of wealth and prosperity and I leave it to my kids might be boneheads and waste it all. And if I decide to not have kids and leave it all behind, then what did I waste my time doing it all for? And he's like, well, maybe I should just be lazy and do nothing. And like that doesn't work out either. And maybe I need to be brilliant and all of that. And well, that doesn't really work out either. So the only thing that he's had as a refrain of hope is, if I can find it here, nothing better for... yeah, he's repeated it a couple times, but I don't remember where it's at in here. Yeah, so I perceive there is nothing better for people than to enjoy their work, because that is their reward for who can show them what the future holds. So this refrain of really It just sounds like enjoying things. Now, even if you pursue the eat, drink, and be happy for tomorrow you die, that doesn't really what he's saying. Where did he say it earlier? Yeah, here he says God has fit everything beautifully in its appropriate time. So, the only pieces that here it is. I also that everyone should eat, drink, and find enjoyment in his toil. For these things are the gift of God. Okay. So, eating, drinking, and finding enjoyment in work. Whatever your call. You know what? Let's look up that word toil. We didn't look up that yesterday. Let's look up toil. Maybe there's something in that besides the idea of work. Maybe it is more to do with your calling in life. Sorry, still got a few gnats roaming around. 13. So if I'm waving off like this, I'm swatting at gnats to keep them off my face. Of a mall. So everyone should go enjoy a mall.
Strong's H 5999. A mall.
Let's go to the mall. All right. Toil, trouble, labor. Trouble, mischief, toil, labor. So, yeah. The thing you have to do. Everyone should just enjoy the thing you have to do. The trouble that your life is. The hardship that your life is. Whatever way you want to look at that. It's kind of interesting. Okay. So that's where we have been. Just wanted to get anyone caught up who was not here yesterday before we move forward. So he's investigated laziness. He's investigated intelligence. He's investigated pleasure. He's continuing to investigate things and see, is this maybe the answer to life? Is this maybe the answer to life? Okay. Here it's saying that 417 was in the Hebrew is actually in the previous chapter. The chapter breaks sometimes are different from English and Hebrew. And that's because I think our breaks end up coming from either the Greek or the Latin later on. Okay. Be careful what you do when you go to the temple of God. Draw near to listen rather than to offer a sacrifice like fools, for they do not realize that they are doing wrong. Oh. So draw near to listen. What is that? Come on. There we go. Alternatively, to obey. Lishmoa, prepositional plus call infinitive construct. Shema, to hear, may be taken in one of two ways. Literally, to listen, to contrast, to speak, or figuratively, the cause for effect, to obey. In contrast, to sacrifice. Yeah. I like that idea. Draw near to obey rather than to offer a sacrifice like a fool. No, you're not doing this to go through the motions. You are doing it to draw close to God because of what you are doing. Do not be rash with your mouth or hasty in your heart to bring up a matter before God. For God is in heaven and you are on earth. Therefore, let your words be few. So would this say, don't pray often? Or is this in reference to when you are making your sacrifices? Just as dreams come when there are many cares, so the rash vow of a fool occurs when there are many words. So he's talking about making vows, not just words, not prayer, but I'm making a vow. Like, God, if you do this, I will do that. Don't be rushing into that. When you make a vow to God, Do not delay in paying it, for God takes no pleasure in fools. Pay what you vow. So if I vow, I'll give an example of one that might have been, hey, Donut Christian, welcome in. It might have been something they would have done. Like if I'm a fisherman and I'm going out to fish, I might vow to God that if he blesses me with a catch today, then I am going to dedicate so much of the catch to God. That might be a thing that you might do if you're making a vow. Like, God, I really need it today, and if you give me, bless me, I'll give you a third of everything you give me. So you got to catch 3 fish. Now also, just on that thought, if you only catch 2 fish, you're trying to give a third. No, you would give the third one, kind of an idea. So it would be every third one you would give would be more likely how it is. How you doing, Donut? It is better that you not to vow than to vow and not pay it. I mean, that just makes sense. Like, so you could just not vow to God, hey, I'll give you a third of everything I catch today, and go out and catch, and then be in gratitude giving God 10% of what you caught by just being so happy. Give him 20% because you're so excited and out of gratitude, rather than a vow and you don't do it. Do not let your mouth cause you to sin, and do not tell the priest, it was a mistake. Why make God angry at you so that he would destroy the works of your hands? Okay. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. That's just alternate on the priest, a messenger. Referring to the sin, inadvertent or unintentional. And yeah, it refers to the rash vow, thoughtlessly. That's what I was thinking this is. So, like, your mouth is going to get you in trouble when you make promises you can't keep. Like, think about parents who do that. I promise we'll do this later. Then later, you don't do it. Like, it'd be better off if you didn't promise your kids. Your kids learn to not trust you. Kids learn to not believe you when you promise things. So the same kind of thing. You're making a vow. I'll do this for you, God, if you do this for me. Just as there is futility in many dreams, so also in many words. Therefore, fear God. If you see the extortion of the poor or the perversion of justice and fairness in the government, do not be astonished by the matter, for the high official is watched by a higher official, and there are higher ones over them. Yeah. Okay. So don't be surprised if extortion is happening. The produce of the land is seized by all of them. Even the king is served by the fields. Served. I wanted to go with seized there. The function of the term has been understood in 4 ways. Look at just how many footnotes we have on this passage. It's like a lot. And trying to understand the grammar here of what's going on. Lots of options there. Lots of options. Okay. But here it's interesting. Don't be surprised when you see extortion or of the poor or perversion of justice and fairness in the government. It's a government line here. In the province. Okay. They went with government because it's talking about officials later. That makes some sense. The one who loves money will never be satisfied with money. He who loves wealth will never be satisfied with his income. This also is futile. When someone's prosperity increases, those who consume it will also increase. So what does its owner gain except that he gets to see it with his eyes? The sleep of the laborer is pleasant, whether he eats little or much, but the wealth of the rich will not allow him to sleep. Yeah, if you have a lot, you're worried about losing it. What's interesting here is my kids have recently come to this realization. I got a raise. And after taxes got taken out of the raise, it really doesn't feel like I got a raise. Like, it didn't amount to much. Yeah, because the person above you took out what they were going to take. So, the state took out some, and the federal took out some, and there you go. Everybody above you's taking their share. Here is a misfortune on earth that I have seen. Wealth hoarded by its owner to his own misery. Then the wealth was lost through bad luck. Although he fathered a son, he has nothing left to give him. Ooh. Yeah, through bad luck, through a bad business deal. The basic meaning of inyan is business affair or occupational task. The term is used in a specific sense in reference to business activity as well as a more general sense. Okay, I just wanted to know why you were using luck. There we go. The English version reflect the same two approaches. Bad luck, some misfortune. A bad business deal, a bad investment, a bad venture, some unlucky venture. And okay. I would have liked bad business deal or bad business venture or bad investment, I guess. But luck just seems like, well, a bad investment is different than bad luck. Anyway, no need to go into that. Through whatever he had, he lost it all. He has nothing to give to his son. Just as he came from his mother's womb naked, he will return as he came. And he will take nothing in his hand that he may carry away from his toil. This is another misfortune. Just as he came, so will he go. What did it gain from all the toil for the wind? Surely he ate in darkness every day of his life, and he suffered greatly with sickness and anger. So, you're striving after wealth, you're striving after riches, and misfortune comes, and it ruins it all. What did you accomplish? Bupkis, diddly squat. So, you die sad, old, and poor. I have seen personally what is the only beneficial and appropriate course of action for people. Okay, we should pay attention now. Like, he's been telling us all the wrong ways. Wait. I've seen the only beneficial and appropriate course of action for people: to eat and to drink and find enjoyment in all their hard work on the earth during the few days of life that God has given them. For this is their reward. Okay, so this is the phrasing, and it switches a little bit on how it's said. To eat and drink and find enjoyment in all their hard work on the earth. So why here? We had toil earlier. Yeah. The toil, which one toils? Okay. So here the phrase is longer. The toil, which one toils. And the literal Hebrew is under the sun, if you did not, weren't here for that or you're used to that. Well, under the sun, we're on earth. We're under the sun. So you labor during the day is what that's, I think, referring to. So God's reward is for you to find enjoyment in the work you do. To every man whom God has given wealth and prosperity, he has also given him the ability to eat from them, to receive his reward, and to find enjoyment in his toil. These things are the gift of God. So to receive a reward and enjoy your toil and have the ability to do that. For he does not think much about the fleeting days of his life, because God keeps him preoccupied with the joy he derives from his activity. Oh, man, is that a beautiful thought. He does not think much about the fleeting days of his life because God keeps him preoccupied with the joy he derives from his activity. I'll tell you what, I lose track of time pretty easily when I'm streaming. I do. When I'm in the Bible, when I'm reading that, when I'm spending time with all of you, digging in and sharing thoughts and questions and engaging. Man, yeah, I'm preoccupied. I often don't know how we get through 2-3 hours sometimes, and it just feels like we barely got started. So, Totally understand that feeling. And if you have done something you enjoy, I can just pick on a video game. Like when you're playing a video game and you're enjoying what you are doing, the activity, and you suddenly look up and go, "Oh my goodness, how is it 3 in the morning?" You get the idea there. Here is another misfortune. Okay, so he keeps coming back to, here's the way life is, and it's unfortunate that I see on the earth, and it weighs heavily on people. God gives a man riches, property, and wealth so that he lacks nothing that his heart desires. Yet God does not enable him to enjoy the fruits of his labor. Instead, someone else enjoys it. This is fruitless and a grave misfortune. So he's back to the idea of, I work for all of this, but somebody else takes the fruits of my labor. Even if, if a man fathers 100 children and lives many years, even if, he lives a long time but cannot enjoy his prosperity, even if, he were to live forever, I would say a stillborn child is better off than he is. So he had that phrase earlier. Because of the fleetingness of the way that life is, those who are never born, who never experience the trials of life, are better off than those who are alive. I just want to check on the noun here denotes miscarriage, and by metonymy, the effect is stillborn. So they put the effect of the outcome. Okay. So we follow God and enjoy what we do in life, and it makes God happy. Imagine that. What makes us filled with joy? To enjoy what God gives us to do gives us joy. Though the stillborn child came into the world for no reason and departed into darkness, though its name is shrouded in darkness, though it never saw the light of day nor knew anything, yet it has more rest than that man. If, if he should live 1,000 years twice, yet does not enjoy his prosperity, for both of them die. So in the end, like, the rich person and the poor person die. What did the rich person gain? Nothing. The person that seeks after pleasure and luxury and worry and anxiety are the life that they live. What do they end up? Dead. Just like everyone. So 2,000 years versus stillborn. Stillborn wins in his book. They didn't experience all the tragedy of life. All man's labor is for nothing, more than to fill his stomach. Yet his appetite is never satisfied. Okay, so we're going back to the repeating thing here. So if I have to labor to eat today, tomorrow I have to labor to eat tomorrow. I never have my stomach full. It could temporarily be full, but oh my goodness, a few hours later I'm hungry again, and I gotta go work again, and I gotta feed it again. It never ends. That's what he's saying. It's all fleeting. It's all pointless. You just keep doing it again and again. So what advantage does a wise man have over a fool? Oh, so there might be some chiasm here, chiastic structure, because we had fool and wise at the beginning, and now we're returning to it. We had the one not born, and then we have the one stillborn. So there could be a chiasm in here. What advantage does a pauper gain by knowing how to survive? Is it better to be content with what the eye can see than for one's heart always to crave more? That continual longing is futile, like chasing the wind. Hey, losers! Whatever has happened was foreordained, and what happens to a person was also foreknown. It is useless for him to argue with God about his fate because God is more powerful than he is. Okay, what is the word for? Already its name was called. Okay. Let's go here. 6:10. Feel like they're doing something more with the implications of it than the Hebrew might Let me put it this way. I feel like they're with going foreknown, they're putting theology in there instead of just translating what that which hath been is named. Ah, okay. So if it's named, naming has the power over. So if it is named, there is power over. They're going foreordained. Like named, like that stillborn child would have been named. Okay. Let's go look up name. But I thought Shem here was named, so Kara, Shem.
Strong's H 7121. Kara.
To call oneself, to be called, to be proclaimed. Shame, name, yeah.
Strong's H 8034. Shame. Shame.
Reputation, fame, glory. Yeah, so memorial monument. Okay. So I would go in the direction of here of it's already, is named already. Yeah, is called already. Is called, yeah. So I would think man was given the job to name the animals. Now, so naming things has something to do with having authority and power over. I would go in that direction here of the play of God has named you man, and you are going to contend with God, the one whom he named and has authority over. That would be the direction I see this going more. Seeing that there are many things that increase vanity, what is better? Okay. See, like I said, the foreknown here, the foreordained, I think they're reading into it. I think it has to do with speaking over and the power of God to have named you. You can't have power over God because he's the one who's named you. That would be the direction my brain is going from the Hebrew and the idea there of the name and being named, not being foreordained. I mean, foreknowledge, I'm okay with. The foreordained feels like they are putting theological ideas into the text. Not that doesn't happen. So, all right. The more one argues with words, the less he accomplishes. How does that benefit him? Yeah, so if you're arguing with God, the more you say, the less you accomplish. For no one knows what is best for a person during his life, during the few days of his fleeting life. For they pass away like a shadow, nor can anyone tell what the future will hold for him on earth. So we can't know the future. So, is it a Calvin influence? It could be, but there's other influences as well, Wade, that they could be pulling in. But, and it's also, it's done with committee, so it doesn't mean that everyone who says foreordained and foreknowledge means the same thing. And when you say fate, nor do you always mean the same thing. But I understand why they might have done that. Good question. They might have done it from the perspective of how things have been setting up. Like, it doesn't matter what you do, you can't change anything, which is fatalism. So maybe they're actually going more in the fatalistic, because it did say fate there, didn't they? Yeah, his fate. So maybe they're actually going more in the Greek idea of fate, but they're using terms that we would think are more biblical of foreordained and foreknowledge. But fate is not a biblical idea from my perspective. Argue with God about his. Let's go. What was that word? Argue with God about his. Yeah, it's contend with God. Neither may he contend, argue with him that is mightier than he. Yeah, this is just about might, and they put fate in there. God about his fate. Like you're arguing with God about what's going to happen in life. Well, God's more powerful than you. So I don't think, like, fate was not in the original there. Why they don't leave a, well, maybe they leave a footnote. He cannot contend with one who is more powerful than he. The reference of that, the one who is more powerful than he, God, has been specified in the translation for clarity. The words with God about his fate have been added for clarity as well. Yeah, so they added with God about his fate to try to add clarity. It is useless to argue because God is more powerful than he. Yeah, so you're arguing with God about things. So they're assuming that it's arguing about fate. It could also be arguing about fairness, about justice, about oppression. You could be arguing about a lot of things because he's talking about the fleetingness of life. And he's focused on the outcome, which is why I think they put fate in here. So, yeah, that's my take on it. But Wade, good question there. I like that. That helped me rethink that a little bit better. A good reputation is better than precious perfume. Likewise, the day of one's death is better than the day of one's birth. This really sounds a little bit like Job at times, doesn't it? The day of one's death. He curses the day he was born. It is better to go to a funeral than a feast, for death is the destiny of every person, and the living should take this to heart. Sorrow is better than laughter because sober reflection is good for the heart. Okay. Grief is better than laughter. So sadness of face is good for the heart. Though the face is sad, the heart may be glad. The heart of the wise is in the house of the mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of merrymaking. This is some weird stuff to go, wait, what do you mean? But his whole point is everyone ends up dead. So when you're at a funeral, what are you really doing? You are celebrating the end of someone's life and all the things that they have done. So celebrating what has been their life and their lot. If you're at a feast, there's still tragedy that might come to that life. So sober reflection is good for the heart. Wow. We usually think that not being serious equals happiness. Yeah. I do like their translation there, the sober reflection. Yeah, because sadness of face is good for the heart. The point is you're dwelling in the sorrow, because the next line, the heart of the wise is in the house of the mourning. You are going to the place where mourning takes place. You are remaining in mourning, and boy, how quickly do we want to move past grief? We want to move back to get back to life the way it should be. Let's ignore everything. I'll give you an example that I saw recently. If you remember the tragic fires in Hawaii, there are people who were still homeless, had no place to go, were still mourning, and the government tourist industry was trying to open up to tourism. And they're like, we are still mourning, we're still grieving. We can't go work. We don't even have a place to live. We don't have anything else. And it was like, oh, well, it's been 2 weeks now. We should be able to open it up, right, and start letting tourists in. And then when they were going back to work and tourists expected them to be happy. I'm here in Hawaii. Why aren't you happy when you're serving me? Just be aware. Like, if you go somewhere that tragedy has happened, there are going to be people who are reflecting on sorrow for many, many weeks, months, and even years, depending upon the severity of what took place. So, it is better for a person to receive a rebuke from those who are wise than to listen to the song of fools. Praise is another word for song, parallelism between rebuke and song. Okay. For like the crackling of quick burning thorns under a cooking pot, so is the laughter of a fool. This kind of folly is also useless. Thorns refers to twigs from wild thorn bushes. Yep. The word kind of folly does not appear in the Hebrew text, but is supplied for translation clarity. The laughter of fools is also useless. Okay. It's difficult to determine whether the Hebrew term here means fleeting or useless in the context. The imagery of quickly burning under the cooking pot is ambiguous. I would go with fleeting because they burn up quickly versus useless because they are useful for starting the fire. So I would go with fleeting there. I would have went in the other direction now that they're looking at that. Like trying to make someone laugh when they're sad. Okay? I actually was just watching a show that they were doing that. Guy's dad died and they're trying to get him to laugh because they think that will make him feel better. He was dealing with the loss of his dad, and they're trying to show him videos of they thought they're funny, and they weren't funny. Even though that normally would have been things he laughed at. He did not want to laugh. He wanted to mourn. Surely oppression can turn a wise person into a fool. Ooh. What word do we have oppression there? Or extortion. Scholars debate the noun. Is it oppression or is it extortion? Omega, welcome in. Wow, really? That's so sad. I remember when one of Guatemala's volcanoes erupted, and I believe Habitat for Humanity came down and collected funds to build brick homes. That took about 3 months, though. Yeah. Sometimes we who are not, okay, if you look at Job's friends, right? Job's friends are a great example of what we do. They come and they sit silent for 7 days, and then they're like, Job, it's time to get over it. Why are we ready to tell people to get over it? Because we're not experiencing it. And them continuing to remain in the sorrow, the sadness, it doesn't help us feel good. Yeah, also good morning. Doesn't help us feel good. So yeah, we are often quick to get back to life. No. Well, you want to say traditionally, and I don't know what tradition you want to focus on, but it used to be that a widow or a widower would dress in a certain attire that would be called widow or widower's clothes, and you would wear those minimum a year to let people know you still had lost your loved one, so that your physical appearance when you went somewhere that was not your hometown but was in your, state, province, whatever it was, in your region, you went there, people know, oh, they are a widow, they're a widower. You would know they might still be grieving. You would not expect them to be filled with joy. You would not participate in celebrations of joy when you were still in mourning. Bootstraps, welcome in. So we've lost that entirely. We don't let people designate themselves as filled with grief. We don't have markers to show that they're filled with grief. We don't let them walk around and we're like, a year later, come on, why aren't you back to life? Like, you should have been back to life 6 months ago, minimum, right? So we have lost the ability that he's talking about here, and we act like fools with useless words trying to get people to get back to life. Okay, so oppression here. Surely oppression or extortion. I like oppression. I think I go with that one. Can turn a wise person into a fool. Likewise, a bribe corrupts the heart. Well, if we're going with corruption and a bribe, I might like extortion better because it feels like a parallelism. Third person indicative, to destroy by the Dead Sea Scrolls, which reads twist or perverts justice. Okay, corrupts justice. So corruption, the bribe, is being implied there. Ah. Okay. That was a good message in the first Inside Out movie. Give the person time to go through their sadness. Yeah, it is a good thing. It is a good thing. And everyone goes through it differently. I just listened to a podcast going through John, and they were talking about, look at the two reactions of Mary and Martha when Lazarus dies and Jesus shows up. One goes out to greet Jesus while as soon as she hears the news that Jesus is coming, and she engages Jesus in a conversation. Then she goes and tells her sister that Jesus is looking for her. We have nothing in the text that says that Jesus was looking for her. But she goes to comfort her sister by saying, he's here. She probably already knew, so she had to go and say specifically, he's asking for you. Then she goes. So one goes immediately, the other remains behind. They both say the same things in their sorrow and grief about if you had been here, which speaks more of, I think, their trust and faith and believe in the power of who Jesus is. But they react differently. One goes out to greet, which, by the way, this was a fascinating thing to think about. So we all pick on Martha, right? Of being worried about doing work and doing the things you're supposed to do. Martha goes out of town to greet Jesus. Heating up breakfast? All right. Martha goes out of town to greet Jesus, which is abandoning what would have been the hospitable thing to do for the people who are already there. She could have sent a servant to greet Jesus, and she could have been about continuing to do the work. Martha has abandoned on some level, and she learned the lesson of choosing the better thing, and she goes to Jesus as soon as she knows he has come. So she does learn the lesson of choosing the better thing and going to Jesus. And then she realizes her sister has not come, and she invites her to go. Where before Mary was running to be at the feet of Jesus, and here she hasn't. Her sister now invites her into that. I just think that's beautiful. Like they were talking about, is this the redemption of Martha from what we had earlier, and we just overlooked that. I thought that was a cool thought. All right, so we've got oppression or extortion and corruption of a wise person. You'll see, like, when life gets tough, you'll see what a real person's attitude and behavior is. The end of a matter is better than its beginning. Likewise, patience is better than pride. Do not let yourself be quickly provoked, for anger resides in the lap of fools. Yeah, good character development. Yeah. Do not say, why were the old days better than these days? For it is not wise to ask that. Okay, what does this have? These days does not appear in the Hebrew text as second time, but is supplied for translation. Oh, so it would just say, do not say, why are the olden days better? I think that's perfectly fine. Why were the olden days better? It is not from wisdom that you ask about this. It's not from wisdom you're asking about this. This not motivated by wisdom to ask, why was it better when I was growing up as a kid than today? You're missing the point. You're not asking why it was better because you are wanting to seek and learn wisely. No, you are complaining about today. Wisdom, like an inheritance, is a good thing. It benefits those who see the light of day. For wisdom provides protection, just as money provides protection. But the advantage of knowledge is this: wisdom preserves the life of its owner. Consider the work of God, for who can make straight what is bent? It's time of prosperity, be joyful. But in times of prosperity, be joyful. But in times of adversity, consider this: God has made one as well as the other, so that no one can discover what the future holds. So going back to, If you're going to have a good day, you're going to have a bad day. They're both a gift from God. Yeah, do not dwell in the past, MC Wolfcat, exactly. Don't dwell in the past. Don't look back to the past. Don't think the past was better. Like Job said, Trigger Boss says, I take the good and the bad. Exactly, that's what he's trying to say is should I accept good from God and not bad? Like, I want to be joyful when I have prosperity, and in times of adversity, I'm going to realize I don't know what the future holds. It doesn't mean that this will remain. During the days of my fleeting life, I have seen both of these things. Sometimes a righteous person dies prematurely in spite of his righteousness, and sometimes a wicked person lives long in spite of his evil deeds. So do not be exceedingly righteous or exceedingly wise. What? Otherwise, you might be disappointed. Okay, what is that translation there? Okay, so excessively. And I would guess this would be for the sake of appearance, probably. So, like, don't be pharisaical. Like, if, like, they went through all of the motions and they hedged a fence around it. That's how they called it. Like, here was the Torah and the commands of God, and we built a fence around it with other rules so that we can obey these rules and never have to worry about these rules. If we do all of these things, we will be doing all of these things. So we don't have to focus on these and ever make a mistake if we do all of these. So they would see themselves as exceedingly righteous and exceedingly wise, and we're going to do everything, even avoid the appearance of evil. Yeah, you'll be disappointed. This has been a dancing verse for me ever since I read it the first time. Oh, you mean 16? Let's go look at the Hebrew then. Which chapter are we in? 7. And like I said, I'm going in the direction of I'm going, like, for instance, if the speed limit, I'm just picking a number, is 50. To make sure I don't violate the speed limit at 50, I only do 45. So I am going to be exceedingly obedient to the law by doing farther away from it than is required. I think that might be the imagery there. But let's look at the Hebrew here. So 16. Do not be righteous over much. No cap! All right. There we go. Rabbah over much. Righteous over much. Neither make thyself yoter wise. Good hair. Woo! Rabbah.
Strong's H, 7235. Ravah. Ravah.
To become many, become numerous, multiply. To be great, to grow, to make enlarge, to make, yes, yeah. So I think the excessive amount there is good.
Strong's
Yoter,
H, 3148. Yothair.
superiority, advantage,
Second
excess.
entry. Yothair.
No cap dapper, pastor. So, yeah, I still think the excessively righteous or excessively wise is going in the direction of I'm going to, like, if I'm worried about accidentally lusting after people, you know, well, then I won't go to movies that are anything except PG, because I don't want to do that. And I'm not going to go to the beach because people have less clothes on at the beach. So I'm going to put up all these rules and all these barriers so that nobody ever says, nobody can ever accuse me of you know, faltering in any capacity in that way. I think that's what this is talking about here. I don't know if that's the struggle you're having, Artsy, or not, but that would be how I would see this. So if you have something else in there, let me know, because I love when someone sees something to go, wait, what about this? You know, otherwise you might be disappointed. Like, well, you find out that what you were doing made no difference whatsoever at all. Well, maybe an example of that. Like, I'm going to try to avoid sugar, so I'm going to drink Diet Coke because I think it's better for me. And then I find out that saccharin or whatever else they put in there is not good for me too. That helps a little? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm guessing there's probably, if you're like, oh wait, there's something here, there's probably deeper than I'm seeing. I'm saying I'm probably at the surface or below, and you're right, there probably is a deeper, still deeper level there. Look at the otherwise here. Why imperfect denotes you might be disappointed. Why should you ruin yourself or destroy yourself? Yeah, I like that better. Ruin yourself, or destroy yourself. Ads in 30? Okay, thanks. I'll just let the ads go. It's kind of like the person who is a really healthy person who runs all the time, eats right, and then they end up with a heart condition in the hospital anyway. Like, why did I even bother with all that work, all that energy? Here he's referring to it as righteousness and being or wise. Your way of life, your walk. Yeah, you'll just end up disappointed in the end. All right, let's go ahead and go over to fish to start with. Ads will start shortly. Oh, and when we get back from ads, I'll be able to put my hat on.
Flat cap past a rocks tween, streaming life by the reeds. Fish pond calm and glassy clear, view it all right from here. Dapper man with sax in hand, plays tunes by his quiet land. Acoustic guitar in the breeze serenades the fish with ease. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat cap pastor shows the way, stream it live come what may. With his cam he shows it all, little fish both big and small. Life in ponds so serene, nature's beauty on a screen. See the ripples, watch the flow, hear the music, gentle glow. Flat cap's charm and calming tone makes the fish feel right at home. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat cat pastor shows the way, stream it live come what may. Refuse Cammy shows it all, little fish both big and small.
We'll just take a peek outside real quick.
Nature's beauty.
Oh, they're looking so good.
See the ripples, watch the flow.
Oh, I didn't turn it to the sun this morning. Looks cloudy. Looks cloudy anyway.
Flat cap's charm, calm in tone.
And I threw some food in with the guppies as well.
Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat cap pastor shows.
All right. finish your battle royale, do your jump game, have fun. So I don't think I've preached on Ecclesiastes very often. I don't think I've preached on it very often. Other than the Ecclesiastes 3, which is often used, and I often read it in a funeral passage. I'll often read lots of passages at a funeral, and that will be one that I read. But I don't know that I've preached on Ecclesiastes very often. Okay. Do not be excessively wicked, and do not be a fool, otherwise you might die before your time. Hey, he says pineapple. So don't be excessively wise or righteous. Don't be an excessive fool or excessively wicked. It is best to take hold of one warning without letting go of the other warning. For the one who fears God will follow both warnings. So don't just go, I heard the warning of don't be overly righteous. I didn't pay attention to don't be overly wicked. Don't be excessively wicked. Like, well, I screwed up already, so I might as well just commit. I might as well just do all the evil I can, do whatever I want, because I've already done messed up. So he's saying, hold on to both of these warnings. So that might be part of it too here. Artsy, is these two need to be held against each other in parallel. Do not be excessively righteous. Do not be excessively wicked. So. Seeing if there was something else that I missed in there. Melchizedek, hey, welcome in. Do you know Pastor Apollo Kibaloi, the man claiming to be Jesus and God here from the Philippines? I do not. Yeah, I say there still might be deeper thing that you need to wrestle with there. I'm not negating that, but I'm saying is maybe it's the bigger picture of all of them is the part of that. Is he just do things in person, Melchizedek, or is he online doing stuff too? It's like the most wanted here right now, and he's hiding. Okay, so he's not doing things online. Okay. No, unfortunately, the U.S. is not good at global news. So, and he's actually rich. Okay, that doesn't surprise me. Usually people that proclaim to be the only ones that know something and have something and they accumulate followers, they exploit the followers and take the wealth of the followers because you can't own anything but the prophet, whether they claim to be Jesus or not, is usually the one who has to control all things and oversee all things. So that doesn't surprise me. Sis, I think he is the head of cult and there are issues with trafficking. Oh, I'm not surprised by that. Okay. Wisdom gives a person more protection than 10 rulers in a city. So even though, see, this is why you have to hold both things. Like, don't be excessive. Like, don't pursue wisdom for wisdom's sake. Pursue wisdom for what the benefits of wisdom are. I think that might be what he's getting at here. Because wisdom is better. Wisdom will lead to protection. You'll understand why people are doing things, their motivation for things, instead of just brute force. There is not one truly righteous person on earth who continually does good and never sins. That would be a fun out of context t-shirt, wouldn't it? For there is no one who is truly righteous on earth who continually does good and never sins. With some thumbs pointing like, this guy. That would be the fun of that one. Also, do not pay attention to everything that people say. Otherwise, you might hear your servant cursing you. Like, not everyone likes you. Don't pay attention to what everything says. And this is a great one for those of us who do social media. Who wrote Ecclesiastes again? It is believed that Solomon wrote Ecclesiastes. Like, don't read your own press. And, when you post things, you're going to get negative comments on there. So, I had, this was so weird to me. It was really weird. So, I didn't take it as negative to begin with. Then the longer I dwelled on it, it felt negative. So, I posted a video over the weekend saying, hey, I've got my 501c3 status. It's come in. Yay, God. Thank you. Going to be able to do some stuff. And someone posted a thing of, you've chosen the world system. You need to choose God's system. And then threw down some reference in Samuel that I'm sure had to do with Saul. And I'm like going, you don't know me, or why I'm doing this or anything else. Like, plus, like, how am I choosing the world system? I started a charity to bless people, to pray with people. How's that the world system? I got government status. Why would I get government status? So the people understand I'm legitimate. I bet whatever church this guy attends also has a 501c3 status. If not, you can't give donations to it and have, write-offs. So, like, it was all confusing to me, and I brushed it off to begin with. And then, as I kept getting more likes, but no more comments, and that being the only comment, it just started to go, why did he say that? So, yeah. Do not pay attention to everything people say, otherwise you might hear your servant cursing you. Ecclesiastes is amazing to read if you read it at the right time in your life. Yes. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, thanks, Heaven Soul. Thank you. Oh, by the way, this is how I respond to his message, to other messages that just seem like you don't know anything or you're saying weird stuff or whatever. I just go, thank you for your comment. That's all I did. I just replied with, thank you for your comment. Thank you for commenting. I'm not going to be argumentative. If the person wanted to engage further, they could have. They would have got a notice that, hey, you commented. There was a response to your comment. I've never had anyone that does what I would say a negative or off-base comment get angry and respond again when I just thank them for their comment. Now, I'm just a small fry, so I don't have thousands upon thousands of people commenting and or saying what I would think are dumb things towards me. So, but that's how I've chosen to do that. For you know your own heart, that you also have cursed others many times. That would be a fun thing on a t-shirt. For you know your own heart that you have cursed others many times. Wouldn't that be a fun t-shirt? Maybe I should go through Ecclesiastes sometime and come up with more t-shirt designs. I have examined all this by wisdom. I said, I am determined to comprehend this. But it was beyond my grasp. Whatever has happened is beyond human understanding. It is far deeper than anyone can fathom. No matter how much you try to study things, you can't fathom people or what is happening throughout the world. I'm watching. And then you have the lovely people who read part of your statement that makes them all triggered and want to project their issues onto you, and they haven't even finished all what you said, which will instantly negate everything they're fussing at you about. Oh God, give us a lovely miracle of communication and the ability to offer. Yes. Yeah, lovely miracle of communication, the ability to ask questions and potentially wait on answers. Sis Pineapple, I can't even fathom my own family at the moment, let alone strangers on the internet. Yeah, LOL, Ecclesiastes, Flat Caps inspiration for t-shirts designed. Who'd have thunk? I know. Like, Well, yeah, patiently. Yes, patiently. Well, like I've got my T-shirt from Job. If you haven't seen it, if this is not so, who could prove me false and reduce my words to nothing? So, yeah, I might, and it won't be right away because I haven't sold many shirts, but I want to come up with some more designs. There was some, we were reading, what were we reading? Corinthians. There were some, everything is futile. Ecclesiastes, yep. But take the things out of context. The reason for that is because people do this already, but they take things out of context to their advantage. I'm taking things out of context to start conversation. That's the point. The title there before verse 25 is a good t-shirt's message. True righteousness and wisdom are virtually non-existent. Woo! Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was a quote from the Board Queen. Resistance is futile. Yes, everything is futile. Even for, you know, that would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. You have Solomon quoting, or the Board Queen says, resistance is futile, and the response is from Solomon, everything is futile. That would be fun. Yes. Yeah, Ecclesiastes abridged. And your point is? Oh, you can get these on coffee mugs, too. My T-shirts, you can get them on coffee mugs if you want. When the merch emote, or the merch thing comes up, you can go check those out. I might even buy a T-shirt like that, yeah. Okay. I tried to understand, examine, and comprehend the role of wisdom in the scheme of things. I think that's just the way that life is. And to understand the stupidity of wickedness and the insanity of folly. I discovered this. More bitter than death is the kind of woman who is like a hunter's snare. Her heart is like a hunter's snare, and her hands are like prison chains. The man who pleases God escapes her, but the sinner is captured by her. Okay, what is the footnote here? Oh, okay. So they're saying this functions as a singular woman rather than saying that this is all women. Yeah, it's translated for clarity with the changing it to woman. Women who are like a hunter snare. The woman who is. Okay. The teacher says, so he just talked about, you know what I learned? Men will get trapped by women. Okay? Yay? The teacher says, I discovered this while trying to discover the scheme of things, item by item. What I have continually sought, I have not found. What I have found, only upright man among 1,000. Only one upright man among 1,000. But I have not found one upright woman among all of them. This alone have I discovered. God made mankind upright, but they have sought many evil schemes. Okay. So, just a question here. I have not found one upright woman among them. Among who? You know, make that verse a t-shirt. The woman will love you. Yes, I have not found one upright among them. But who's he looking at this 1,000 women? Where is he looking? Is it his wives? Is it his wives who led him astray? Is that what he's complaining about? Is he complaining? Is like this whole, like, I don't believe this, so okay, I'm just saying this. Is he writing this whole book to complain about his wives? Dude, you're the one with 1,000 wives. Like, hello. Maybe you should pick better. Maybe you, well, you should have picked better. You should have, if you were trying to unite the kingdom, marry those from the tribes of Israel instead of marrying foreign women. Yeah, and where are you looking? Yes. Like, okay, Let me just go in this direction. If, like, dude, one wife is good. Yeah, yes. Um, Culturally, it was acceptable to have more than one, and he does it for political reasons to make alliances. Okay, but you went too far. You went too far. Seriously, too far. But yeah, he set himself up big time, though. I know, but I was just thinking, like, if I want to go find, and I'm not picking on anybody who was in a frat, okay, but the reputation of a frat house. If I want to go find someone to go to church with on Sunday, and I go visit the frat house on any college campus, and I go frat house to frat house, sorority house, looking for someone to go to church with me, and I find 1 out of 1,000, would I be surprised? Yes, I'd be surprised I found one. So when he's looking maybe among his wives to find someone who's upright among his wives who are all foreigners, worshiping foreign gods, yeah, there's not one upright. You didn't choose any that were. But I don't know if that's where he's searching. I'm just asking. Yeah, who's a collector, hoarder, wives, jewelry, gold, silver, etc. Yeah, he even talked about it. He tried luxury. He tried accumulation wealth. It didn't lead to anything. Okay. This alone I have discovered. God made humankind upright, but they sought many evil schemes. So God made us upright. How does he discover that? It only can be from reading God's word. I think that's the only way. But we seek after evil schemes. Constantly. Okay. Who is a wise person? Who knows the solution to a problem? A person's wisdoms brighten his appearance and softens his harsh countenance. Obey the king's command because you took an oath before God to be loyal to him. Do not rush out of the king's presence in haste. Do not delay when the matter is unpleasant, for he can do whatever he pleases. Surely the king's authority is absolute. No one can say to him, "What are you doing?" Okay, what's the absolute here? Is supreme. Okay. Like, there's no higher authority. Would it have been considered audacious to ask to hear God's voice in the Old Testament? No. And they do this. David does this from time to time. He does. The judges at times will call on the Levites or the priests to try to find and hear God's voice. So Joshua does this at times as he's conquering the land. Sometimes it says, and this was going on, and they sought the Lord's voice, and then other times they don't. So when Joshua is talking to God about Jericho, and he sought the Lord's voice, and he does the stuff, then they go to attack Ai, and he doesn't seek God's voice, and they lose, and after they lose, he seeks God's voice, and God says, hey, someone done messed up, Aaron. You need to figure out who it is. You need to make things right. And then he seeks God's voice after making it right and says, here's how you go defeat that town. So, yeah. Seeking God's voice happens throughout the Old Testament. Well, I would say there's Hannah, who prays to God. I would say that that's a form of seeking God's voice when she goes to the temple annually, that she's doing that. Now, if you are thinking that there's a need to hear God's response in those things, I don't know that they would have always had access to the priest to do certain things. It's not clear if only the rulers could use the Thummim and the Urim and the Thummim, can never get those right, if they could use those or not. I'm not certain who had access to do that. The Uma Thurman, yes. Like audibly. Well, even the examples we have that seem to be audible in Scripture, the best one being Samuel, the others may not necessarily be audible. For instance, when you are using the Uma Thurman, You are, yeah, the Urim and the Thummim. Thank you, Artsy. The Urim and the Thummim. I don't know why I can never keep those straight in my mind. When you're using those, we don't know exactly how they worked. It could have been a yes, no kind of a thing. So you'd have to ask specific questions, and then God was revealing the answer to you. You weren't hearing a literal voice. You had to Google it. Okay. You're not hearing a literal voice. You are asking a question and then allowing a device that God can communicate through to give you the answer. So even when it says vision or dream, we don't know if that always means an audible voice or not. So I can't say with certainty how many times an audible voice happens. The ones where I can point to it are when Paul hears the voice of God, but others around don't hear the voice of God. They just hear like thunder. Okay? So there's those kinds of things. So there was something audible in a couple occasions where others are around. They know something was said. Someone's having an occasion where they're seeing God, hearing from God. But others only hear noise. But there are a couple of times where it does appear where God speaks directly around Jesus, and I want to say one other time in the Old Testament, at least, where it is, and with Jesus, it's, "This is my son whom I'm well pleased." That seems to be an audible voice that happens at the transfiguration and happens at the baptism that people heard audibly. So I think the audible voice is a more rare thing than we maybe think it is. I don't know. Plus, if the person is hearing it, like Samuel thinks he's hearing an audible voice, and he goes to Eli, and Eli did not hear anything. So it takes Eli a while to say, "Oh, just say, 'Here I am, Lord, for your servant speaks.'" Maybe that actually wasn't an audible voice for Samuel. Maybe it was just an internal voice that he was hearing, but it sounded so real, he wasn't expecting it. He assumed it was an audible voice. The only audible voice it could be was Eli. But Eli doesn't seem to be wakened by it or hear it. So it might not even have been audible. That's what I'm saying is, like, it sounds in the description like it's audible, but if you think it through, it might not even be audible when we think about it. So, but I don't think that keeps us from having access to God. Yeah, there's a lot to think about. Okay. Filegeist. The stream now sponsored by Audible Books. Okay, sure. I'm sorry, I'm just laughing about that. That's funny. Okay. Okay. Whoever obeys his, that would be the king's command, will not experience harm. And a wise person knows the proper time and procedure, for there is an appropriate time and procedure for every matter. For oppression of the king is severe upon his victims. Surely no one knows the future, and no one can tell another person what will happen. He keeps going back to that idea. You could see you narrating books. I don't know, maybe. You say the word enough, and they just start sending you money. You know? That would be, well, what I would love is someone to sponsor me to give hats away. I would love to give away hats, like, you know, every Friday, win a hat. Come and answer Bible trivia and win a hat, and I'll send you a hat in whatever style we have for the week. I mean, I'd love a hat sponsor. Audible Books wouldn't be bad either. All right. The proper time. And no one knows the future. Like, how many times? Like, this is a repetition. Like, no matter what I strive to do, I don't know what tomorrow holds. I can't. Like, people are going to do whatever people are going to do, and I don't know what they're going to do. Like, for instance, just think through the wars that are happening right now. Do you have any idea if Russia or Ukraine is going to prevail? I could predict, I can guess. I mean, all of a sudden, Ukraine has done an invasion of Russia. It's changed around. Like, I don't know what's going on. You've got Israel and Hamas and that going on. Like, in Iran, are they going to retaliate? Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what they're going to do. You need Kangol to sponsor this, man. I don't even have a Kangol here. I've got lots, but I don't have a Kangol. So yeah, I need a Kangol sponsorship if I can have one. No one knows the future. Just as no one has power over the wind to restrain it, and no one has power over the day of his death. Okay, I always joke around about I have my death day scheduled. It will be on Easter Sunday when I am 130. That is my plan. I have it penciled in because I can't put it in ink. I can only put it in pencil. But when I turn 130, my retirement will be able to retire. So I figure I'll have nothing left at that point. So that'd be a good time to die. And why not pick Easter? That just seems like a beautiful day to go. So that's my plan. We'll see if it happens. Melchizedek, isn't the Bible says Israel's going to be like persecuted something or getting attacked something, kind of like prophecy also? I don't know. I don't really know any verse about it. Melchizedek, it depends on how you understand the passages about Israel, and there's multiple ways to understand them, and not all Christians agree on how to understand that. Some see all of those things as having taken place in 70 AD with the destruction of the temple and think that's the end. That's it. There doesn't have to be more. Others maintain that all this stuff is still future. Nothing has happened, and all of it has to still happen. So that's why there was great celebration when Israel was established as a country again, and why some people work so hard to preserve Israel no matter what Israel does. Well, I think Israel does stuff that is contrary to treatment of other people as the way God would have us treat other people. And I'm not just talking war and other stuff. I'm just saying like any nation does, okay? And yet people will just say, but they're Israel, they can do whatever. Like, that's not how God set it up. They went into exile, people, remember, because they didn't do the way God wanted them to do it. They could get destroyed again because they're not doing things God wants them to do, not because it's going to be end times thing. So it really depends. There's also a middle ground that can see it somewhere between those two things. There's some that think there has to be a third temple, physical temple. I think third temple was the temple of Jesus, the temple of the Holy Spirit, the body of Christ. So there's other ways to interpret those things. But some think another physical temple has to be built before the end of times can happen, and they're trying to make those happen. So it really depends on how you read, I would say, Daniel, Revelation, some of the Isaiah passages, Ezekiel, how you understand those things to be, and having to have literal fulfillment be your primary focus would be people who think prophecy hasn't happened. So, for instance, I'll give an example. On the day of Pentecost, Peter quotes from Joel where it says, your young men will dream dreams and your old men will prophesy, and your young people and your, I can't remember if it's women or whatever, your girls, whatever the phrasing there, will also prophesy. And the sun will turn red, or the moon will turn red. Did his quoting that make it fulfilled, or where's the evidence that the sun or the moon turned red? What is the reference of that? Was there something that happened during the crucifixion that pointed to that? Or are you saying, well, it was only a partial fulfillment, the moon never turned red, so that still has to happen? And that's how some people look at fulfillment. So, great question in regards to that. And the answer from here that we should take away and apply to that is nobody knows the future. Nobody knows. Even if we're reading through a prophecy that is intended to be a future fulfillment. Remember, it has to have something a prophecy, and prophecy is not predictive only of the future. Prophecy is declaration of God's truth. But if a prophecy is a declaration of God's truth that requires a fulfillment, there would have been an immediate fulfillment for the people that were being written to. There can still be a future fulfillment for the perspective of us, even if that was already fulfilled in the days of those being written to. So, hope that helps everything. You're thinking Zechariah 2, 3, and 5? Yeah, I thought it was Zech, not Zach. Yeah, there you go. While the angel, well, you know what? I don't like to start in the middle. Then I looked up, and before me was a man with a measuring line in his hand. I asked him, "Where are you going?" He answered me, "To measure Jerusalem, to find out how wide and how long it is." While the angel who was speaking to me was leaving, another angel came to meet him and said to him, "Run, tell the young man Jerusalem will be a city without walls, because the great number of people and animal in it. And I myself will be a wall of fire around it, declares the Lord, and I will be its glory within." Okay, that to me totally sounds metaphorical. I will be a wall of fire around it. God was the fire that led the people in the wilderness. I do not imagine a literal fire surrounding the city. Now, this is a way of describing the protection of God and his power. So, thanks. Voice to text. Oh, okay. Towns without walls. Yes. We are the temple. We are the city. Yes. Yes. We, the body of Christ, are the third temple. He lives within us. Yes. And the fire, the wall of fire, the tongues of fire came. We could go spend more time looking at that. The wall being the protection of the fire. We have the Holy Spirit dwelling within us. Yeah. So. All right. Who knew we could spend so much time in Ecclesiastes? Just as no one can be discharged during the battle, so wickedness cannot rescue the wicked. Okay, that's interesting. You can't be discharged during the battle. Like, you can't be dismissed. Like, you're not going to be kicked out of the army while the war is going on. Well, I don't know if I agree with that. Gideon seems to narrow his army down, but I get the point. While applying my mind to everything that happens in the world, I have seen all this. Sometimes one person dominates other people to their harm. Really? You saw that? Wow, all I do is turn the news on. I see it every day. Not only that, but I have seen the wicked approaching and entering the temple. And as they left the holy temple, they boasted in the city that they had done so. This also is an enigma. Work lurk. Thanks, Heaven Soap. Difficult to grasp mentally. Yeah, like, how is it that one person can do evil and not have punishment? Yes. When a sentence is not executed at once against a crime, the human heart is encouraged to do evil. You think? I mean, the change that has happened in California of the not arresting and prosecuting looting and theft has caused many stores to close down because the stores were simply being robbed. Even though a sinner might commit 100 crimes and still live a long time, yet I know that it will go well with God-fearing people, for they stand in fear before him. But it will not go well for the wicked, nor will they prolong their days like a shadow, because they do not stand in fear before God. Here is another enigma. Okay, so here's the enigma. Evil pays. and righteousness doesn't. And measured by life and measured by hardship. Okay, here's another enigma that occurs on earth. Sometimes there are righteous people who get what the wicked deserve, and sometimes the wicked people who get what the righteous deserve. I said this also is an enigma. Like, the outcome of your life and the punishment in your life and the hardship of your life isn't equated with your behavior. So I recommended the enjoyment of life. I recommend the enjoyment of life. Hey, post-it note. All right. We haven't done that in a while. All right. J17 email. Print and mail biz cards. Board meeting Saturday. Book trilogy to Nicole. Ooh, yeah, I did that. Article of Diligent. Ooh. Words of Life. Names of Meaning. Ruth, Barnabas, and Need Prayer. Oh, and another 5 p.m. is on there for some reason. 5 p.m. So there you go. Random sticky note. I know what half of those things are. 5 p.m. Don't know. Article of Diligent. Not sure what that is. And the rest of those have been accomplished. So, yeah, you know, you think people throw out sticky notes, but not here. They get to stick around. All right, thanks for that. Haven't had one of those in a while. I was just thinking about that. That would be fun. Okay. So I recommend the enjoyment of life. For there is nothing better on earth for a person to do except to eat, drink, and enjoy life. So joy will accompany him in his toil during the days of his life that God gives him on the earth. Enjoy your day. That's what you are to do. When I tried to gain wisdom and to observe the activity on earth, even though it prevents anyone from sleeping day or night, so like seeking after wisdom, chasing after wealth, all those things like keep you up at night, then I discerned that all that God has done, no one really comprehends what happens on earth. Despite all human effort to discover it, no one can ever grasp it. Even if, if a wise person claims that he understood, he would not really comprehend it. Okay, so even think about things that we have, like proofs that we have. Like I just watched a video that was talking about how we could measure distances in space. We're taking something called light speed to measure light that has traveled to identify how far something has been. But the moment that we measure it, it is inaccurate because that light took that long to get where we are from where it went from. So we can never actually measure anything that are light years, plural, away. Like the further it is away, the less accurate we can ever be in knowing the actual distance of anything in space. So now doesn't your brain start to hurt as you think about that? Or go study the event horizon of a black hole. And the closer you get to the event horizon pulled into the black hole, the slower time warps for you. And your physical body could be simultaneously being ripped apart, but also be fully whole at the same time as you fall into the black hole. Like, this is supposing that you're not dying because of lack of breath and cold and all that other stuff, or pressure. Just you know, like, the more you know, the more you realize you do not know. That is the futility of knowledge. Oh, yes, says Pineapple, exactly. And there's the assumption that light travels at a constant speed as well, yes. And that light does not get impacted by gravity or other stuff as it travels. So, yes, we have that with lots of things, too. Anything that we measure beyond a lifetime, even radiocarbon dating. Like, we have the assumption that radiocarbon decays at a constant rate and that nothing has changed it. Well, what if something changed it 500 years ago? So anything that we measure beyond 500 years ago has been corrupted and changed. Yeah. Is it impossible to study astrophysics and not believe in God? I think so. Yeah. Says Pineapple. I once gave myself a crash course in particle physics. If you want some real puzzles to solve, have a look at that. Yeah. Just observe, admire God's creation, and stop poking it. Well, it's like, well, even think about the difference between my guppies over here, which give live birth, okay, and my koi over here, which don't give live birth, and like, let's go look a second. Well, they're not in good view, but I'm gonna say, two fish in the same tank, born the same day, are different lengths, and there are some in there that are only about 1.5 inches long, and there are some in there that are 4 inches long. How and why does all of that work? I don't know. I can't and then over here, the guppies may be a little bit easier to comprehend. But why live birth? What is the advantage of live birth over eggs and laying eggs and those kinds of things? I don't know. Yeah, exactly. There we go, Lucis. All right. So I will reflect on all this. I attempted to clear it all up. I concluded that the righteous and the wise, as well as their works, are in the hand of God. Okay, I like that conclusion. Whether a person will be loved or hated, no one knows what lies ahead. Interesting. What is that? Whether loved or hated. Okay, it's still there. I don't know why they gave me the footnote. Everyone shares the same fate. The righteous and the wicked, the good and the bad, the ceremonial clean and unclean. Oh, interesting. We have not had this aspect put in here anywhere, but now it is. The things that we are worried about, cleanliness before God and ceremonial cleanliness or not, doesn't matter. Those who offer sacrifices and those who do not. What happens to the good person also happens to the sinner. What happens to those who make vows also happens to those who are afraid to make vows. This is the unfortunate fact about everything that happens on earth. The same fate awaits everyone. In addition to this, the hearts of all people are full of evil. And there is folly in their hearts during their lives, then they die. So there's no one who doesn't do sin, doesn't do evil. We all do. But whoever is among the living has hope. A live dog is better than a dead lion. Whoa! He's been telling us earlier that the person who's never born is better off than the person who lived and died in this world. The stillborn, can you see Wywis there? Not sure what he's doing. He's getting all excited in the corner there. I was going to show you, but the camera doesn't show him any better than this, so. Well, I guess this one does. So he was just diving in the corner, getting all riled up. It looked like maybe he had a couple of snails in his mouth, so maybe that's what was, maybe he had to wiggle one out that got stuck inside there. It says Pineapple. We have various coastlines around the UK called Jurassic Coastline, as you can just stroll along and pick up fossils, or crack a boulder and find a fossil in them. Most are ammonites. Most have been a mass destruction of ammonites at some point, who all got smothered by mud. But nope, it can't possibly have been a flood. Maybe that all slithered and crawled up on the beach at the same time like lemmings, LOL. Yeah. Huge deposits, though, have been found in lots of places where, for instance, flooding can happen. The interesting thing is not when we find a collection of fossils that, oh my goodness, there's some disaster happened. I think that's clear. What's interesting is when you find aquatic animals in a mass grave. Then that's interesting. to me that something happened. Like, that's really curious. If the animals in the water were destroyed simultaneously at the same time, I don't know. But yes, you can look at fossils and think they point to God. You can look at fossils and think they point to nothing. Okay, so now we're saying that there is hope. There is hope. The living have hope. What is the... All the living. Okay. For the living know they will die, but the dead do not know anything. So now he's finally decided, wait a minute, the dead don't know anything, so the living are still better off than the dead. Even though earlier he was making the argument the other way around. Why? I think he wanted us to disagree with his argument about the person never born is better off than living in an evil world. Although we talked about some people feel that way today. So maybe you agree with it in premise, or maybe the person that was stillborn is better off, and it's like, well, that's not quite as good. The person never born, I might agree, but the stillborn, there was some problems there. Now the person who is dead is not as well off. He's moving you. Is he rambling in his old age? They have no further reward, and even the memory of them disappears. Yeah, so the dead have no reward, and they don't know anything, and their memory disappears. So even though he was talking about it's fleeting to live because you end up dead and nobody remembers you, he's now saying the moment you are in life, alive, is the best moment you can have. Today is your best moment. What they love as well as what they hated and envied perished long ago, and they no longer have a part in anything that happens on earth. Go, eat your food with joy, and drink your wine with a happy heart, because God has already approved your work. Let your clothes also be white, and do not spare precious ointment on your head. Enjoy life with your beloved wife during all the days of your fleeting life. Oh, it is wife whom you love. So they just put beloved wife. Okay. That God has given you on earth during all your fleeting days. For this is your reward in life and in your burdensome work on earth. Whatever you find to do with your hands, do it with all your might. Because there is nothing good, nor planning, nor knowledge. Sorry. There is neither work, nor planning, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave. The place where you will eventually go. Wife, not wives. Oh, let's double check if that's singular. 9999. Good call on that one. Wife. Isa. Which also could just be the word for woman, Isha.
Strong's H802. Isha. Isha.
Yep, singular, singular. Oh, not saving up precious ointment for your funeral? Use it while you're alive? I would say yes, says Pineapple. Yeah. It sounds like he's having second thoughts, hindsight. Okay. Again, I observe this on the earth. The race is not always won by the swiftest. The battle is not always won by the strongest. Prosperity does not always belong to those who are the wisest. Wealth does not always belong to those who are the most discerning. Nor does success always come to those who have the most knowledge. For time and chance may overcome them all. Surely no one knows his appointed time. Like fish, they are caught in a deadly net, and like birds, they are caught in a snare. Just like them, all people are ensnared at an unfortunate time that falls upon them suddenly. This is what I also observed about wisdom on the earth, and it is a great burden to me. There was once a small city with a few men in it, and a mighty king attacked it, besieged it, and built strong siege works against it. However, a poor but wise man lived in the city, and he could have delivered the city by his wisdom, but no one listened to the poor man. So I concluded that wisdom is better than might, but a poor man's wisdom is despised. No one ever listens to his advice. Could I look up the word chance? Oh, yes, yes. Trying to think where that was at. I think we had a footnote on a reference to that earlier. Do you remember what verse it was in? Time and chance. Okay. Mm. 9/11. Okay. It's just about there. Ah, there it is. For time and chance overcome them all. Let me just see what it says in the footnote happened to. Okay. So 9/11. Okay, here we have favor to skilled men, time, and chance. Okay. Hega. Okay. Yeah, I was assuming time was going to be time
Strong's H 6256.
of an event,
Eighth.
but also could be
Eighth.
the fortunes that happen to you, that beset you. Yeah, that's... Okay. And chance. Hega.
Strong's H 6294. Pega. Pega.
It's only used twice. But now the Lord my God hath given me rest on every side, so that there is neither adversary nor evil occurrence. Okay, so chance, things that happen. So it might not, like, chance might not be the best word, but it's what happened. What happened. So let me go look at the root here. So the verb is an encounter, a meeting, an entreaty, an intercession, the meeting, the cause. So it's coming from the cause of things. Is time and chance. So in the course of time, the thing that happened, I think, is all we're getting at. So there's no control over it, is the point. It's just what happens. Does that make sense, Artsy? Other thoughts? I really wish I could tell my brother all this. Financially, he does not want for anything, paid for house, off, etc. Got money in the bank, TV, best sound system, best everything. He is now in the hospital after having severe panic attacks, mental health breakdown. Suddenly the most important thing in his life is me, who takes in toiletries, clothes, and who he trusts with his house key, etc. Nothing else, no matter, apart from which people he can trust. Yeah. You thought it meant misfortune? Oh, okay. If we go back to it, did I go scroll past the wrong verse? Yeah. 9/11. For time and chance may overcome him. Misfortune. Yeah, it could be. It's just, I think it's more generic of just whatever occurrence happens as I was looking up. But maybe there's a nuance to that. Just occurrence happening chance, which could be negative misfortune. Okay. Yeah, it says pineapple. That's rough when you are the only one that someone trusts and allows, and but at least he does trust you. At least he is, and yeah, it'd be great if he was able to start enjoying the day. Just enjoy the day, not worry about tomorrow. The words of the wise are heard in quiet. More than the shouting of a ruler is heard among fools. Wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one sinner can destroy much that is good. True that. One dead fly makes the perfume's ointment give off a rancid stench. So a little folly can outweigh much wisdom. Oh, that's interesting. That's so interesting. So I was working on some wine, and not that there's a dead fly in there, but something got into one of my containers of wine, and there is a white film across the top. There is a bacteria or a fungal growth or something in there. It is entirely ruined. That is a tiny thing that got in there and decided to have fun with whatever. I am not risking drinking that. It's ruined. A wise person's good sense protects him, but a fool's lack of sense leaves him vulnerable. Okay, so this is easing off from the beginning. The beginning was so forceful, it's awful, it doesn't matter, but now he's saying, okay, but wisdom is still better. Like, when I look around at everything and nothing is the answer, what are our best things? So when you were looking at the exceedingly righteous and wise, now he's just saying a wise person's good sense. Where do you apply it is the important part. Not the gaining of the wisdom is not what's important. It is the utilization of the wisdom that you have. And the fool who did nothing, he's vulnerable. Even when a fool walks along the road, he lacks sense and shows everyone what a fool he is. If if the anger of the ruler flares up against you, do not resign from your position, for a calm response can undo great offenses. Woo! That is an interesting phrase. I just wondered if ad breaks were coming. All right, it appears they are here. I think let's look outside this time.
Streaming life by the reeds. Fish pond calm and glassy clear. View it all right from here. Dapper man with sax in hand plays tunes by his quiet land. Acoustic guitar in the breeze serenades the fish with ease. Watch the fish, they swim along to the rhythm of his song. Flat cat pastor shows the way. Stream it live, come what may. With his cam he shows it all.
Okay, what's interesting in this passage here, I was just thinking through this. If the anger of the ruler flares up against you, do not resign from your position, for a calm response can undo great offenses. Like, I know people right now who are struggling with their bosses over the top of them, and I think this would apply. Like, a calm response can undo great offenses. So even if you did something wrong and their anger flares up, Um, calm response can undo a great offense. But I think the contrast would be a defensive, argumentative, hostile response to that is not going to get you to subside. Get them to subside, I should say. But this also feels like you did something wrong, so the calm response is what you need to do. Maybe you didn't do anything wrong. That's seemingly more the case with the people I know, that their bosses just do not know how to manage people well. I have seen another misfortune on the earth. It is an error a ruler makes. Fools, oh, what? Rulers make errors? Fools are placed in many positions of authority, while wealthy men sit in lowly positions. I have seen slaves on horseback and princes walk on foot like slaves. Like, you can't look at wealth or power and assume the person is wise. One who digs a pit may fall into it, and the one who breaks through a wall may be bitten by a snake. So he's just giving like misfortune or unpredictable things now. Just chance. By chance there was a snake there when you broke through the wall, you got bit. You dug a pit, you ended up falling in your own pit. One who quarries stones may be injured by them, and one who splits logs may be endangered by them. If an iron axe head is blunt, and a workman does not sharpen its edge, he must exert a great deal of effort. So wisdom has the advantages of giving success. Oh, that's such a good metaphor there. So I know this little story about like before chainsaws, you know, this old man who'd been chopping down trees forever has a young braggadocious young guy come in, and he was always complaining because he kept seeing the old man sitting and resting. He said, "Why are you always sitting and resting? You need to work harder. You need to get more work done." And the old man says, "Well, let's see who can do more work." And so, every elder tree, the man is sitting over there taking a break. The old man is sitting there taking a break, and the young man is just swinging away and swinging away and swinging away. And they get to the end of the day, and the old man has done 3 times as much wood as the young man. And he can't figure out why the old man has chopped down more wood than he did. And he said, every time you think I'm over there taking a break, I'm sharpening my axe so that I don't have to expend as much effort and energy to chop down a tree. And you never stop to sharpen your axe. So that is what this is talking about there. There is wisdom that says, sharpen your axe. And there is just brute force that does not have wisdom. The words of a wise person win him favor, but the words of a fool are self-destructive. At the beginning his words are foolish, at the end his talk is wicked madness. I wanted that to be wicked smart. Yet a fool keeps on babbling. No one knows what will happen. Who can tell him what will happen in the future? The toil of a stupid fool wears him out because he does not know the way to the city. Doesn't know how to get to the city. Okay, interesting phrase. Must have been a common phrase kind of thing. Omega. Oh, that sounds like a little like Paul Bunyan cartoon, but Paul Bunyan lost against the chainsaw. Okay, there's another story too. Is it Ira Hayes? I can't remember the name, but he challenges the railroad to hammer the spikes by hand versus the new tool that could do it. And he wins, but then he dies because his heart gave out, kind of thing. If you know that old myth. Okay. Woe to you, O land, when your king is childish and your princes feast in the morning. Blessed are you, O land, when your king is the son of nobility, and your princes feast at the proper time with self-control and not drunkenness. Ooh, that's interesting. For strength and not drunkenness, as heroes and not as drunkards, for nourishment and not for drunkenness. Oh, I kind of like that. For nourishment and not for drunkenness. Strength. Yeah, for strength and not drunkenness. Yeah, you're drinking for strength. You're not drinking for drunkenness. Mark Henry was, yeah, that might have been Mark Henry. Might have been Mark Henry. I might be confusing his name with someone else. Yeah, it probably is Mark Henry. Because of laziness, the roof caves in, and because of idle hands, the house leaks. Feasts are made for laughter, and wine makes life merry, but money is the answer for everything. What? And they think money is the answer for everything. Oh, okay, this is a quote that they're saying. Yeah, John Henry. Okay, that sounds right. John Henry, yeah. Oof, my hands are tired now. Okay, MC, what were you doing? Do not curse a king even in your thoughts, and do not curse the rich while in your bedroom, for a bird might report what you are thinking, or some winged creature might repeat your words. Okay, this is an interesting idiom here. In the chamber of your bedroom, a bird in the air might carry the voice. Okay, what was the thoughts? I think it might have been whisper, if I remember right. Let's go to 10, 20, just to see what that is. Don't revile the king in your thoughts or curse the rich in your bedroom. Oh, okay, here it is. The cursing of the rich in your bedroom. Okay, there's the parallel. So the thoughts or the cursing of them. Like, nobody's around. You still might have it found out. I also think that this is just good. Like, don't go around carrying the thoughts of, I hate that person, or saying bad things about that person. I know it's talking about that the word might get out and get back to that person. Like, the thing is if you harbor those thoughts in your heart, and then other people are going to notice that. For instance, when that person walks in the room and you're like, they're here. People know that. Or if every time they show up in the chat, you leave the stream, people are going to notice that. So you don't have to say anything. Your behaviors also can give away your internal feelings about stuff. Okay. Send your grain overseas, for after many days you will get a return. Divide your merchandise among 7 or even 8 investments, for you do not know what calamity may happen on earth. If, if the clouds are full of rain, they will empty themselves on the earth. And whether a tree falls to the south or to the north, the tree will lie wherever it falls. Like, you don't even know which direction the tree's going to fall. He who watches the wind will not sow, and he who observes the clouds will not reap. You're spending your time waiting and watching for the perfect time. You don't act. Just as you do not know the path of the wind or how the bones form in the womb of a pregnant woman, so you do not know the work of God who makes everything. Sow your seed in the morning and do not stop working until evening, for you do not know which activity will succeed, whether this one or that, or whether both will prosper equally. So have multiple things that you're doing. Oh, that's a great advice. Oh, you're peeling and chopping pumpkin. You're vacuuming, sealing veggies in preparation for when the one bridge is closed to the highway expansion. But I didn't expect the butternut to fight back. Yeah, due to highway expansion, yeah. Okay. Good plan. Be prepared, just like it's talking about. Light is sweet, and it is pleasant for the person to see the sun. So if, if a man lives many years, let him rejoice in them all. So he had about darkness and death earlier. So light, while you're alive, the daylight. But let him remember the days of darkness will be many. All that is about to come is obscure. Like, think about this. Since the time of Jesus, there has been over 2,000 years. Okay. Even if we were to take literally, coffee time, awesome. If we were to take literally every age given in the Bible, and I don't think there's evidence that we need to, but if we did even that, there has been more time passed since the time of Jesus than any of the here's how long someone lived was. So more has happened since they have all died before the flood who had long lives than was during their lifetime. Like, so, yeah. It's all obscured. What they actually did. Oh, and then read through their, what they did in their life. Like, it's a paragraph. Their whole life is a paragraph. That's amazing that there's so little. Rejoice, young men, while you are young, and let your heart cheer you in the days of your youth. Follow the impulses of your hearts and the desires of your eyes, but know that God will judge your motives and actions. So you can follow your desires of your heart and your impulses, but know God judges your motive and action. Banish emotional stress from your mind and put away pain from your body, for youth and the prime of life are fleeting. Okay, what? What is this translated emotional stress? Vexing, anger, irritation, offense, frustration, grief. Okay. So the worry. Yeah, I think the worry would be the direction I might go. From your heart, yes. NET likes to go with mind over heart, even when heart is mentioned for the most part, because we Westerners think that intellect is the place where everything resides instead of from the heart. I like from the heart better because it really speaks more to motivation than intellect. And when you say from your mind, it almost like its default is intellect, and from knowledge. So, okay. So remember your Creator in the days of your youth, before the difficult days come. Yeah, you know, when you got to move out and get a real job. And the years draw near when you will say, I have no pleasure in them. Like, I don't have time to do anything because I work so much. Before the sun and the light of the moon and the stars grow dark, and the clouds disappear after the rain. When those who keep watch over the house begin to tremble, and the virile men begin to stoop over, and the grinders begin to cease because they grow few. And those who look through the windows grow dim. And the doors along the streets are shut. When the sound of the grinding mill grows low, and the one is awakened by the sound of a bird, and all their songs grow faint. And they are afraid of heights and dangers in the streets. The almond blossoms grow white. The grasshopper drags itself along. The caperberry shrivels up because man goes to his eternal home. And the mourners go about in the streets, but the silver cord is removed, and the golden bowl is broken, or the pitcher is shattered at the well, or the water wheel is broken at the cistern. The dust returns to the earth as it is, and the life's breath returns to God who gave it. So, earlier he just keeps saying the dead, the dead, the dead. Now he just went through a sad liturgy of losing everything. I won! Don't know how I did it, but great. Awesome. What'd you win, Omega? Absolutely futile, laments the teacher. All things are futile. So he's back to he had some hope there in the middle. And now he's returned back to the beginning of everything is futile, everything is chasing after the wind, everything is vanity. No matter what you are doing, you will not take it with you. Not only was the teacher wise, but he also taught knowledge to people. He carefully evaluated and arranged many proverbs. The teacher sought to find delightful words and to write accurate, truthful sayings. The words of the sages are like prods, and the collected sayings are like firmly fixed nails. They are given by one shepherd. Dude is going through 7 stages. Yeah. Be warned, my son, of anything in addition to them. There is no end to making of many books, and much study is exhausting to the body. Having heard everything, I have reached this conclusion. Fear God and keep his commandments, because this is the whole duty of man. For God will evaluate every deed, including every secret thing, whether good or evil. Here's the conclusion. Is that the word? Yeah. The end of the matter, everything I have heard. Yeah, the conclusion. I have reached a conclusion. Fear God, keep his commandments. That's it. That's the conclusion. Why does he reach this conclusion? Mainly because he didn't do it. Oh. The jump game. Oh, you won the jump game. The catch game. Okay. I wasn't paying attention to that. I know what happens. I wasn't paying attention. But you won. Awesome. So, now I won the Battle Royale. Yay me. I won the Battle Royale. How did that happen? I did nothing. Oh. Ecclesiastes. Now I remember why it rigged. Yeah, why? I'm over here reading. I'm not doing anything. Why we often don't preach on Ecclesiastes. But here's the thing. I think there's great comfort in hope in the middle of it. When you are in one aspect of this, seeking to be righteous, seeking to follow after God, and it doesn't look like it's turning out, and you realize that the rain falls on the just and the unjust, and that fear of God is the only thing that separates you. And if there is, now he makes it sound like there's nothing after you die, is the way it sounds. You're not conscious, you can't do anything, all those things, you're forgotten, all of that. But what you do have is what you do in this lifetime. Like, that kind of seems like it should make a difference. In the end, he's like, fearing God and keeping his commandments. Which, Solomon, you did not do. You did not do that, my friend. So, yeah, is this his last vain attempt at, is this his memoir? Is Ecclesiastes the memoir of the richest man, the smartest man who ever lived, and maybe the most powerful man, if you want to go in that direction, for the power he had was unmatched. So there is no more. He died. He realized he was going to die. Now, I don't know how many of his wives he already lost at this point when he might be writing this. And like what would you want as, like, this kind of just makes me think of, what do you want people to have, or what do you want to have on your tombstone? Like, what do you want it to say on your tombstone? Often I'll see it as like mother and husband and father or brother or sister, and they give one of those things on the tombstone. Which frankly doesn't say much, doesn't tell me the character. You want pepperoni and cheese? I got you, Papstio. I got you. Pepperoni and cheese. Yeah, I haven't seen that commercial in a long time. I always thought it would be funny, and well, there's the joke ones that are out there, like, I told you I was sick. I think that'd be hilarious to put on a tombstone. I've seen it, not in real life, but I've seen photos of it. But I think they were fake. But I thought, you just missed him would be hilarious. You just missed him. BRB. BRB would be a fun one to put on a tombstone. BRB. Something along those lines would be fun. But honestly, like, there's some people that put these big, long things on there. Loved this, loved that, loved the other thing. But you know what? The only thing that's left is the impact you had in other people's lives. I actually like that. He said he always knew this was going to happen. Yeah. Yeah. I told you I was sick. Here's the end. So, it's the whole duty of man. Oh, let's look up whole duty. What is that word? This is all men, or this is the whole of men. The phrase, this is all men, features rhetorical allusions to the key word. The ambiguity over the alluded word has led to this is the whole duty of men. This is the duty of all men. This applies to all men. This is the whole duty of all men. This is no more to man than this. Okay, those all seem to mean the same thing. The bottom line is, this is what you got. This is, wait, you're clipping the rigged. Okay. Fine. I need to get some of those reposted that you make. I know that I got to go in and click on those and share those, so I need to go do that. Wednesday's usually the day I go and make sure I've done that. I don't remember if I did that last week or not. So, as I may not have. I was back from my mom's house, so maybe I did. All right. Anyway, just looking at my schedule here a minute. Oh, that's right. They're supposed to go longer. Never mind. That won't work. But Thursday will be a short stream. I can only stream until 9 o'clock. Oh, and I need to check out. I may not be around on Friday. If I'm not around on Friday, yeah, write yourself a post-it note to remember. Yes. If I'm not around on Friday, I may do a live stream with IRL meetup on Friday. So I need to get a hold of Frostbite, that is, and check in on the plan for Friday, because I'm gonna join LTN on Friday. They are at Grand Con, and I'm supposed to go bring a devotion, and then I can hang out with them. So if I do stuff on Friday, it might be little clips. I might do IRL. That would be fun, I think, to try to do IRL. I think in where that's at, I'd be able to. So, hey, Sunshine, welcome in. So, that's my thought. So, no stream tomorrow. Thursday, short stream. Friday, remote if it happens. So, I got to double check on that info. So, glad I remembered and looked at the schedule. Redeem, change the flat cap. The blue one. Okay. Oh, no. I just broke my egg. I have these painted eggshells. These ones are from Romania. I just dropped it. I will have to see if I can fix that. That will take some effort for sure to fix that egg. Had it on the side. I don't know how I didn't pay attention to it. The red one is, no, the red one's not new. I've had the red one for a while. It's a costume hat. I got it. maybe close to 2 years ago. I usually have it sitting there. Aerating the good hair. No, not new. Santa cap? No. No, not a Santa cap. It came with a red vest to do a 1920s costume. So we did that for a costume for Halloween either last year or the year before. I don't remember which year we did it. So my wife got a flapper dress. I had a vest and then a watch, pocket watch, and then the hat. There might have been a bow tie that went with it too. I don't remember. So, all right. So we finished Ecclesiastes. So tomorrow, let's start Song of Solomon. And I don't know that we'll get it all done tomorrow. I only can go till 9 o'clock. Sorry, not tomorrow. No picture to share? Oh, I don't know where there's a picture. If you go on my socials, you go on Facebook, you might find it. There probably is one. But I don't do a lot of that in Discord. Should I do that in Discord? I don't know. So, no stream tomorrow. Thursday, Song of Solomon. Friday, remote if we have it happen. Oh man, if I can't glue it back together, take some fine sandpaper and sand it gently, a flat surface. And then, when it's level, glue it on a nice piece of wood. Oh, interesting. Yeah, what I might need to do, actually, is maybe fill the inside of the egg up and round it off with something that I can put inside so that it doesn't collapse in when I glue it. So, I don't know. I'm not going to deal with that right away. I'll let it sit there for a while and deal with it another time. So, all right, let's get a blessing and let's find someone to raid. Let me see who I'm following that could be raided. Sarah's on, Beowulf is on. These are both good choices. Asia's on, haven't rated her in a while. Mad Mama's Farm is on. Thank you for the stream. Oh, you're welcome. Have the excellent rest of your day. Thank you. You too. There was a raid redeem. I did not see it listed. If there was, I'll double check that. If it was, I missed it. There was one yesterday. I know that. Where is the... Okay, let me go through. So the... Oh, there was. I missed it. I missed it when it came in. Oh, I don't know that name at all. So I definitely missed it when it happened. Okay. I don't know who that is. Ecclesiastes in a nutshell. There we go. Prof. Reggie. All right. We will go over there then. Let me give you a blessing. May God seeking comfort find you. May his loving arms bind you. May his might protect you. May his wisdom direct you. May the joyous love of Jesus Christ be with you and all those you know, both now and forevermore. Amen. Thank you all for being here. I love hanging out with you. I love spending time in God's Word with you. I love your thoughts, insights, your questions, your prayer. Have a blessed day, and let's go bless others.
Yeah, Pastor. Dashing through pages, Chronicles, Gospels, Prophets, Sages, Leviticus, laws to Paul's fine phrases. Turning them corners, no spiritual mazes. Genesis to Revelation, self-divine, flipping scripts, endless grace you'll find. Psalm singing sweet, unbroken lines, hitting that rhythm, wordplay refined. Anybody in here blessed? I'm blessed. Anybody in here blessed? I'm blessed. Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? I'm blessed. Wake up early, the dawn's light shimmers. Spiritual breakfast, soul food dinners. Isaiah's vision, Ezekiel's figures. Walk through the fire, no one limbers. Kings and judges, prophets profound. Plow in the word, no mythical ground. Verse after verse, wisdom's bound. Heavenly soundtrack, soul's urban sound. Anybody in here blessed? I'm blessed. Anybody in here blessed? I'm blessed. Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? I'm blessed. No shortcuts, all divine routes. Listen to the whispers, no room for doubt. Parables drop stronger than gold faucets. Souls hydrated from divine prophets. Study the book, change perspectives. Carefully crafted, not too subjective. A year to reflect, learn and perfect. Patterns of grace that time can't deflect. Old Testament drops, deep and so real. Kings and warriors, covenant seals. Split that Red Sea, divine reveal. Commandments written, not made of steel. Bethlehem birthed a cross on the hill. Unfolding the message.